First of all,
look at Johnny, looks like a midget.
John, when you announce a member of the New World Order, show a little more passion, okay? Or I'll cure your stuttering problem by slapping the taste out of your mouth.
Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you nothing says hip, young MTV generation like Bryan Adams and disco. Huh. I've spoken before about the failed business ventures between WCW and MTV. Link in the description if you need a refresher, but the TLDR version is that WCW saw the success its competitor, the now WWE, had been having by mixing pro wrestling with the music world. From the rock and wrestling connection to what is now known as Jim Johnston's 5 Bands of Doom. WCW President Eric Bischoff tried to replicate that fusion his own way a few times. Remember that time Monday Nitro became a Kiss concert? We'll save that for another time. For now, WCW's attempt at winning over the MTV crowd was literally by putting specials on MTV, in hopes that those viewers would seek WCW out during the week. Their first major attempt was the WCW MTV Ultimate Music Video Bash. It didn't go very well, but when you factor the extenuating circumstances like record rainfalls in an outdoor venue, it's hard to say if the failure was WCW's or just Murphy's Law at the time. So, the two tried to do it again, and that brings us to this day in wrestling history! January 23rd, 1999. World Championship Wrestling presents Snow Brawl on MTV from the Snow Summit Mountain Resort in Big Bear, California. Rather than doing the show live, WCW taped it this time around to prevent unforeseen issues like, The show would air on February 6th during MTV's Snowed In, a 6-hour block of winter-themed programming, likely to ensure that MTV could approve the final product this time around. So, with the ability to reshoot if the weather gets out of control, the event is sure to be a better litmus test to whether WCW and MTV can get along, right? Let's check it out. The show opens with a pan of Big Bear's ski resort to the tune of Offspring's Pretty Fly for a White Guy. The Nitro Girls, WCW's resident cheerleaders and dance team, are warming up the crowd, so to speak, before fading to our commentary booth for the night, consisting of Rob Zombie, whose contributions to music can't be denied. He's joined by Jimmy Hart, whose musical contributions include Billboard success with his high school band The Gentrys, and Larry Zbyszko, whose musical contributions include, this.
I'm Larry Zbyszko. I won't be through till I get done slapping around Scott in the suit. Gonna beat the ugly bartender into a bundle and laugh all the way doing Wrestle Rock Rumble. Ow!
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about that one in the future.
Zbyszko for what's got to be the most violent, brutal display of carnage and carnality to happen all weekend at Snowed In.
Oh, Rob, he really doesn't know. Then again, the press release MTV put out also promised the top wrestlers of WCW. Haha, we'll see. Where the Ultimate Music Video Bash was a 3-hour event that had to be trimmed to just under 2, this time around, Snow Brawl's only a 22-minute show, featuring one match, an over-the-top rope battle royal featuring a whopping 7 wrestlers. And those 7 of WCW's top superstars are Booker T, Billy Kidman,
I would not expect any less confusion from this rinky-dink little channel like MTV.
Kenny Chaos from the Ultimate Video Bash, as well as Conan, Bryan Adams, Brian Clark, and Disco Inferno. Oh dear. So once again, the likes of Hogan, Goldberg, Sting, Nash, Hall, Hart, Benoit, they all took the day off. Screw it. But hey, we did get Stuttering John from the Howard Stern Show as guest ring announcer. You know, I'm starting to think these WCW guys really don't care for MTV.
Please welcome the baddest man from the barrio. Here's Conan.
Oh hey, I forgot to mention that since MTV has the licensing to use pretty much any music they want, for this event, they opted to play actual songs for ring entrances instead of the wrestlers' usual WCW themes, which for the most part is a step up. Anyway, K-Dogg enters via snowmobile to Cypress Hill's Insane in the Membrane. Freshly turned babyface as his primary group, the NWO Wolfpack, had just merged into NWO Hollywood, resulting in a ton of infighting with the group. Kenny Chaos, now no longer part of High Voltage, enters to Slam by Onyx. Disco Inferno, representing the Wolfpack, comes out next, before Billy Kidman to Kid Rock's Bull God. NWO Hollywood member Bryan Adams, the former Crush, comes out to Ministry's NWO and cuts a heel promo on the room that nobody seems to realize is a heel promo.
I'm very, very impressed. In all my life, I have never seen so many geeks, so many punks, and so many weenies.
Oh my God. He just lost them.
After that, Brian Clark, the former Adam Bomb, enters to Metallica's Fuel, despite Stuttering John declaring the guy a big fan of Van Halen. Finally, Booker T, who's down with the OPP, despite being all about cannabis during the Ultimate Video Bash, rounds out the competitors for this match. To quote OOC from OSW Reviews, this is a literal who's that of wrestling. After all the entrances are complete, the Nitro Girls perform another number to the tune of Everybody by the Backstreet Boys, Rob Zombie whips out a gun, and the match begins. Remember how I said this show was edited to meet MTV's approval? Tell me if you spot anything noticeably different at the beginning of this one.
Hey, I have my wallet.
Look, Steve, you're right. Look, the referee's got his hands full. He's trying to get back to the back.
Oh my God,
You don't have enough eyeballs in this.
you gotta be alert.
Yeah, that's right. Straying away from the traditions of wrestling on TV in favor of traditions of wrestling in video games, the Snow Brawl Battle Royal has a musical accompaniment throughout the entire match. I'm sure this is because, well, let's be real, MTV's audience is generally younger than WCW's, and a fair few of those viewers at the time would just have MTV on in the background while they're studying or doing something else. Hearing a bunch of grunting and banging isn't likely to keep them engaged with the channel as much as, songs. But personally, I like this. Made me feel like this was a SmackDown PS2 game. Now as for the match itself, it was a battle royal. Any stories being told in the ring are usually overlooked by commentary, and with so many people in the ring at the same time, there was very little room for actual high-octane action and more just stomping and resting until the numbers dwindled down. The match itself was only about 10 minutes long, which is not long for a battle royal, but felt a bit long for an MTV crowd that's not actually invested or engaged in WCW programming. I mean, this is the crowd that managed to turn the length of popular songs from about 5 minutes to a little bit over 2:10 before needing to switch to something else. Yep, I'm old. I'm getting to that these damn kids phase. So the final four ended up being Billy Kidman and Booker T of WCW, as well as Disco Inferno and Bryan Adams representing the unified NWO. Booker literally kicked Kidman out before being offloaded by the two NWO reps. As Disco and Adams celebrate together, one has to remind you what the hierarchy is when it comes to this faction. Adams of NWO Hollywood turns on the Wolfpack jobber and presses Disco out to a conveniently placed pile of snow outside the ring. As Disco is pelted with snowballs from the crowd, Bryan Adams is presented the Snow Brawl trophy by Jimmy Hart and Rob Zombie. As Adams cuts another hurtin' promo,
Thank all the little people out there, which is most of you, for nothing.
notice how these fans didn't even hear the for nothing part? Come on, man, you had all the potential in the world and you just couldn't get heat. Really, all of this was just to stall long enough for Konnan, the most popular guy in the entire show, to return to the ring and take Adams out. Konnan tells off the NWO and Rob Zombie signs off for the one and only Snow Brawl event. The best way I could describe this show is, well, it's a wrestling show for people who don't know or care about wrestling. There's no build, there's no story progression, no complexities. There was no real reason for people who do regularly watch WCW to catch this show because nothing progressed. Okay, Konnan's still not with the NWO anymore. Cool. And MTV fans got some instrumental loops of Living Dead Girl instead of, the song. And that didn't work here, just like that didn't work in Rock of the Dead.
Got it.
Ultimately, the show did a 0.9 rating, which sounds perfectly fine by 2022 standards, but back in the 90s is an unmitigated disaster. Bryan Adams saw no push out of this. Konnan didn't even crack the top of the card. Just like the MTV Championship, the Snow Brawl trophy never saw the light of day again. But, and you're not gonna believe this, this is not the final nail in the coffin for WCW's MTV agreement. It actually turns out they would try one last time using everything that the two companies had learned so far. But that is a story for another time. For now, I want to ask you, what did you think of WCW Snow Brawl? For the more diehard wrestling fans, was the addition of Rob Zombie and music during the bout actually appealing to you? And for the more casual fans out there, would something like this have gotten your attention and maybe pique your interest towards checking out WCW? And do you think this should have been a more regular thing? I do admit the change of venue is much needed in wrestling today, but they definitely didn't have that format down yet. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more because I want you to be a part of this conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so I want to thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.